to show you how to take this base artwork and we're going to add some details of the roof line and then also the fence using more blend. Okay, so I'm in my layers, and just as a refresher, I've got some details. I've got a base of a house. Oop, got my door down there. I've got the house base and I've got my background. At some point we've replicated multiple doors and that's okay. You can go in and clean up those layers. I'm going to keep moving for the sake of time. So we're going to add some details to this roof, kind of like maybe it's a tile or a metal roof. And the way we're going to do that is with some lines. So we're going to make a new layer. And we're going to come over using the line tool and we're going to start this first guy. And I want him to be this color as a stroke. And then from that, again, so that I'm not grabbing random colors, I'm going to choose a darker version of that first. Perfect. I'm going to do the same line over on this side of the roof. Perfect. I'm going to grab both, and then I've got to estimate. I'm going to try 30 for our blend. So we're going to go up to Object Blend, Blend Options. At this point, we definitely want it to align to a path, not straight up and down. That can look funny, but you can always go back up and change these things. And we're going to attempt 30 and just see how that goes. And actually, it looks great. You could undo and do that again if you wanted. While this is selected, and I'll go back and we'll fix this chimney in a few minutes, I want to add a highlight for this. I don't just want these plain black lines. I want it to have even more depth. So I'm going to copy and paste in place. I'll show you this way. I'm going to change it to a white so that you can actually see it. And I'm going to move it over one. Now that is pretty harsh. So what I can also do is get in here with my appearance where I can see my opacity. And I can change that down a little bit. There we go. That's going to show all those different values and hues underneath it, but still gives nice detail. You know, it's a fine line of what's going to work large and what's going to work small. So you've got to kind of be going in between those two. Awesome. Now I have this nice roof line, but I've got this chimney in the way. Let's go fix that. He is in house details. So we're going to unlock house details. We're going to grab these two. I can go up to edit or I can do Command X, but I'm going to cut. I am going to make a new layer. I'll name this layer in a minute. Chimney. And I'm going to paste it in place. Perfect. It's that easy. Let's call this roof details. Awesome. Now let's build a fence. We've almost got this house in here. It's looking really nice. We're going to come in, hit save. We want to build a fence line. So I'm going to show you how I would quickly do that. Again, lots of different ways. We'll lock all of our layers. We'll call this fence. We've got to build our first picket. Lots of different ways to do that. I'm going to use a rectangle tool this time. You could use a stroke. It's up to you. It's not big enough. Try again. I like that look. Okay, I'm going to go white. It's going to be a white picket fence, and I'm also going to add a point to the center so that I can use this point to make it a picket. I don't want a huge point, just a little. Enough that I can see it's small though. Yep. Okay, same system. Careful with having your direct select on. You can copy and paste just singular points instead of objects if you don't have it all selected. So I'm going to Command C, I'm going to Command V, Command Shift V so it pastes in place, and then I'm going to hold Shift while I move this. I don't want them to land perfectly at the edge of the page. I want them to be a little bit off for my composition's sake. In between these guys, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try 9. Let's try 10 actually. Let's just see where it goes. I want these to be straight up and down, so be careful with that part. It's not bad, it's a little too spread out, so I'm going to make it more. I'm going to try a 15. So I'm going to Command Z, undo, go back to blend, blend options, change this guy to 15, object blend and make. Oh yeah, much better. I can see it small, see it large, looks good. Now I want to get in here and I want to make the slats that run across and hold this fence up. I'm going to try a line this time for it. And I'm going to go across with this guy and add in a stroke. I'm going to make him a slight different color so he hides behind these, and I actually want it to go behind. So I'm going to do a Command Shift left bracket. Notice how it pops it straight into place. Grab it, make another Command C, Command Shift V, shift with my arrow down. Move those into the right placement. Pop this guy back. If you don't like my way, you can always come over to your layers panel and you could move it that way. But he looks pretty good. Now I'm going to grab everything. Again, lots of different ways. You could come up and do transform, and you could move with a copy. You couldn't really see that. Let's try it again so that you can see what we're doing. Grab, object, transform, move. I want it to be not vertical. I don't know how that got in there. And my horizontal, let's just say 1 inch. 3 inch, 5 inch, pretty close. I'm going to say copy. Now I'm going to use my shift and right arrow over just to move him into place. And that looks nice. Okay, so also what's weird is this part of the fence is in front. So really the fence needs to go behind the house. So let's just move that layer. This entire layer just needs to go behind the house details. There, now it pops back in there. How easy just to create a nice little fence line. So stay tuned for some more lessons. Next we'll go into the palm trees and then we'll be close to done.